So talking about the chocolate war, first, before we start, are there any questions from the reading? Actually, I meant to do this one. Before we start our discussion, take maybe 5 minutes and review the reading, and then we'll talk about it. So I'll give you about 5 minutes to review so you can remember what you read about. Okay, so how about you guys? Any questions about the two chapters, chapters 2 and 3? No? Okay, we'll talk about this later, but some people say this book is shocking. It's really bad for young high school kids. Did you think it was shocking at all, or strange or bad? You didn't see anything that was shocking? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Actually, this book, a lot of teachers and parents, they're against it. They say this is not for kids, it's very bad. So even some libraries, they can't have this book. But when I read it, I thought, no, it's not shocking. I don't understand, so it's kind of interesting. Wow, hey, that's great. Okay. Whew. Okay, and what about in this group? I was talking to them. Some people say this book is quite shocking, and it's bad, and nobody should read it. Did you find anything shocking or terrible about this book? Some words?
Slang.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, yeah. So they use some slang words. So that's part of it. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So that's a great question. Before she died, he was hiding this magazine, right? So he was so ashamed and embarrassed, he threw the magazine in the garbage. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. Any questions about the story? No? Are you sure? You understand everything? Yes,
the visual assignment.
Okay, actually we're going to talk about that, but that's very important. We can preview. Okay, so the assignment we'll talk about in a little bit, but the vigils is kind of like a gang in the school, but the vigils is not a street gang. Street gang, maybe they take people's money, they sell drugs. The vigils is more of what we would call a the vigils is kind of a secret society, kind of like a brotherhood club. So maybe like a group of politicians. The vigils is a group of students, and they do kind of secret things. They have secret activities. Maybe they tell people, you have to do this, you have to do this. Sometimes they are against the teachers, and sometimes they are for the teachers. So they're kind of a gang, but not a violent street gang, kind of a crazy thing. And the vigils, they give students assignments. You paint the school, or you send a pizza to the teacher's house, like this one. So it's kind of the secret society, and that's very important. So we'll get going with this. Are you sure? Any more questions? Yes?
What's the meaning of bleep?
Bleep.
Okay.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So bleep is a high-pitched sound, like boop, like that. That's a bleep. Sometimes if you watch some movie on KBS, they have to bleep out, so they say, you son of a bleep, like that one. So a high-pitched sound. Yeah, good. Good question. Any other? Yes? Now you guys are. Mm-hmm.
Is OB a student?
Yeah, OB is a student. And OB is his nickname.
But Aki says that.
Mm-hmm.
Aki says to me that, do you want to lose your job?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Actually, Jerry has a part-time job, even though he's a student. Obi has a part-time job. In a lot of Western countries, high school students have a part-time job. They want to make extra money. They want to go to college, so that's normal. So it's after school, maybe work 2 hours, 3 hours every day. Yeah, good question. Anything else before we get started? Okay, so we'll talk about your own high school lives. You know that high school is like a mini society because there are low class and middle class and high class. So the high class we talked about, like Carla, the beautiful people, the popular people, everybody likes them, everybody loves them. So for boys, popular high school boys, why are boys popular? What makes a boy popular in high school? Yeah, especially sports players who are good, strong, good sports players. Usually sports. Sports makes the boys popular. What about for girls? Yeah, usually, and this is the way in many countries, usually the pretty girls are the most popular. Sometimes they're cheerleaders or pom-pom. They're related to this one. So strong sports guys, pretty girls, that's the way it works. Middle, just regular people, and some kind of people who have are unpopular. Why are people unpopular? A lot of it has to do with maybe a lot of kids who are kind of low in high school, unpopular or not known, it's because of their family background is not so good. Maybe drugs or alcohol, some family problems, some kind of abuse. If you look at the family background of the popular people, usually very positive, more happy. So it's kind of interesting how that works. So keep this in mind, and I'll give you some time to talk about your own high school life. So the first question, what was your social class in high school? So when you're in high school, were you one of the beautiful people, just kind of normal, or were you unpopular, unknown? And then what group were you in? Where I'm from, we have different groups. For example, the jocks. Jocks are sports players, especially star football players, soccer players, the jocks. Nerds. Nerds just study. They're not cool. They get good grades. They're good at math, but they're not cool. Nerds. Hippies. And this is kind of important. Do we know what hippies are? This is kind of old culture. Hippies are people who don't want to be in the normal society. Maybe they're like artists. Maybe they drink on the weekend. They like to have fun. They go to the park on the weekend, or they quit school. They stop going to school. So hippie is kind of a bohemian, kind of an outsider, because they want to be. They don't like school, so they quit. They drop out. They make their own style. And then a burnout. Burnout were the students, let's see, when I was in high school, burnouts maybe smoked marijuana in the bathroom. They smoked from when they were 14, wore black clothes, and listened to only heavy metal. So we talk about this one. So here, these are some groups, but of course there's other groups. Number 3, when you were in high school, how did you suffer? And then this is, maybe you say, I didn't suffer in high school, but that's not true. Everybody suffers in high school, even if you're beautiful, handsome, popular. When we're 16 or 17, I think life is always hard. Maybe our parents, our teachers, our Hagwon teachers, just everything. So everybody suffers in high school. Everybody has a hard time. As a high school student, how are you different? In high school, like I mentioned, I thought, oh, these beautiful people, the popular people, their life is heaven. I'm not popular. Oh, my life is hell. I'm not a football player. But later I realized even the football players and the cheerleaders, they have a hard time too. Even the popular people say, oh, I'm different. I'm not like these people. So in high school, everybody suffers and everybody feels that they are different. Everybody. It's very common. And finally, the last one, how did you survive high school? What helped you cope with the stress? So I think my first year, second year of high school, my parents were making me crazy. Oh, you're stupid, study harder, study harder. My brother was like a genius, and then always I felt stupid next to my big brother. So what did I do? I think I bought every heavy metal, not CD, cassette I could have, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, AC/DC, everything, and listen at volume 10, hours and hours and hours. I don't know how I can still hear. I listened to so much heavy metal, and then I read these fantasy novels. The hero kills the dragon and he gets the beautiful girl, and this one, I think at least my freshman year and sophomore year, mostly I didn't study, listening to heavy metal, reading fantasy. When I think about it now, what a waste of time. But without heavy metal, without fantasy novels, I don't think I could survive high school. This is how I escaped. So before we talk about the chocolate war, in your groups you can ask and answer these questions. Before you start talking, look at the questions, take your pen and make some notes, just some simple answers so you know what to say. So I'll give you guys about 5 minutes. Before you start talking, just make some notes, some simple answers so we can have a good discussion. You guys, who here went to public high school? Public high school. 공립. Public? Oh, so most of you guys went to private?
Yeah, private school.
Private. Really? Okay. And was it any kind of special private school, science high school, foreign language high school, anything like that, or just private high school?
Just private high school.
Oh, okay. And do you think it was good? I mean, was it much better than the local public school?
So-so, just
So-so.
nothing special.
Nothing special, okay.
And nothing different from the public school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So not that great, nothing special about it.
Lunch is terrible.
Lunch was really bad. Oh, okay. Well, that's all he remembers from high school is lunch. I understand. Okay, good. Right. And then, you guys, when did you graduate from high school?
I was out of the high school in 2005.
2005. Okay, 2005.
2008.
2000. Wow. Okay. 2009. Okay. 2006. Okay, so you guys are mixed. Everybody in the 2000s. So that's of course. Okay. But most of you guys were born in like 90, 89, 90, 91. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. Good. So a little bit older or something. We have 24 years. But God, that's so long ago. I graduated from high school before you were born. So bad. I hate that. Okay. Good. Okay. And you guys in high school, did you have a uniform, or could you wear just regular clothes? You had a uniform? No, so you could just wear regular clothes? Okay, and you guys, uniform? No, okay, so what kind of school did you go to?
I studied abroad.
Oh, okay, right. So international school? Okay, so it's more relaxed. And you went to school in China where you're from, is that right? Okay, and do many schools have uniforms in China?
Always have
Really? So your school had a uniform, but you didn't wear it?
Yes.
And most students don't wear the uniform?
Yes, the uniform just
Mm-hmm.
when you do sport, doing the sport,
Mm-hmm.
to wear the uniform.
Okay.
Don't use the uniform.
Oh, so it's just sometimes, not like every day. Just that's interesting. Okay, different philosophy. Okay, so we'll talk about our high school lives just for a couple minutes, so you all have some notes about it. And then when we're talking about our high school life, remember, like Jerry, you kind of want to focus on the bad part, the negative part, the difficult part, because high school is hard for everybody. So if you want to, you can just basically complain about your high school, your family, your teachers, the society, everything. So I'll give you about 5 or 10 minutes to answer these questions about high school. We'll put some music in the background. Okay, and how do I do this? Okay, good. Oh, Okay, yeah, that's enough. So I'll give you about 5 or 10 minutes just to ask and answer the questions about your high school life.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
What's the difference between nerd and geek.
Nerd and geek, they're almost the same. Nerd sounds almost always negative. When I was in high school, geek was the same. Sometimes geek is cool now. For example, like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, they're geeks, but they're really rich, so it can be positive at the same time. So you said you were in international school. Did you say in Prague?
Well, international school in Hong Kong till my junior year.
Oh, okay.
And then
So which did you like more, the international school or the Korean school? Did you like it? Was there a big difference or kind of similar? So you really prefer the international school? Mm-hmm.
they provide better facilities
And everybody says Korean high schools are very strict. Only study, study, study. They're not fun. Did you think it was the same? Okay, yeah, that's what I heard. I'm just trying to see. She says, I'm from Seoul. I just, how did she say it? Did she say, I'm from Seoul, or was it, I'm from Seoul? I wasn't sure. It depends on how you say it. That's my wife's style. I'm from Seoul. I'm from Seoul, like this one, so I'm not sure what that means right now. You're fighting for sleep? Oh, in the class? And then you're hit by your teacher for sleeping. Oh, right. Yeah, that's hard to imagine, huh? Huh? Really? Are you serious? Like this? Are you serious? God, that's insane. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's typical, but still, the face. I can't imagine the face. Yeah. Oh. So now you have some scar, I'm sure, from your psychological scar from your teacher. God, that's the face is. You shouldn't touch the face. Never. Oh, God. All right. So did you have some bad experience? So you said you were in Japan at a girls' school or boys and girls together? Oh, really? Okay. Because you're Korean? Oh, I see. So did they say some like bad nickname or something like this, or? Oh, and you're the only one, only you. Oh, that's hard. Oh, so you had I remember reading your paragraph. You said you had a hard time and everything. Okay. No, it's very good. Her paragraph was fantastic. That's why I remember it. It was very, very nice. Okay. Well, it was very good. You got a good score. I remember. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on to the next activity here. This is called a warm fuzzy, and then this is it's very easy to do. So each student needs one piece of paper. So one blank paper per student. So from your notebook or from anything you have, you can just take one piece of paper for each student. And when you have your piece of paper, in the middle of the paper, write your name, kind of big, a little bit big, not the whole paper, but write your name kind of big in the middle of the paper. Write your name, not my name. Write your own name in the middle of the paper. Now this is the complicated part. What you want to do is give your paper to each person in your group. And when I gave my paper to another person, they just have to take a little space here, just a little bit, and write a So when you get somebody else's paper, just look at this person, think about them for a minute, write a nice thing or a compliment about the person, like, for example, let's see, like you have a nice smile, or you're so kind, I think you're very smart, always you study hard, but nice smile is fine, that's good, but like this one, please, that's a compliment, but we don't want to talk about that sort of thing. You're very slender or something like that, so nice smile. Physical things are good, but nothing that's sexual or anything like that one. So I'll give you about 5 or 10 minutes take everybody's paper and you can write a nice thing about each person from your group, just from your group. I'll give you about 5 minutes. So short and simple, something like this. And then don't show the person and don't write your name. Everything should be anonymous. So you can, if you want, you can take your book and like this one, write something so the person doesn't know who wrote what. It's anonymous, so maybe hide it like this one. So pass the papers around, say a nice thing about each person. And is this yours? Oh, okay, right. So when you're finished, if you are finished, you can return the paper to the original owner. But everybody has to write something, so after everything's finished, give it back to the owner. So this group, you guys are pretty much done? Okay. Just almost done. Oh, did you get yours? Everybody's got their own? Okay, yeah. No, take your time. Take another minute or two if you need it. Okay, and everybody has their own? Okay, that's good. And what you guys, you have a big group, so you can work for another minute. A lot of what we call guy talk. So if you go to a locker room of any sports club, fitness center, the way the guys talk to each other, kind of tough guy, very macho style. You know, a bunch of guys, if we're talking about girls, a guy can't say, yeah, this girl, she's really pretty. You can't say pretty to your guy friends. It sounds very feminine. Yeah, you know, she's really pretty. So we don't say pretty, we say she's hot. She's a fox. She's a babe. She's awesome. But if you say, you know, she's pretty, people will say, are you crazy? So kind of guy talk, we say words like bastard. So, but the way you say it is very important. My friend who I didn't see for 10 years, I say, hey, you old bastard, it's nice to see you. Not, you bastard! It's, hey, you old bastard. Oh, that guy? Oh, he's a bastard. So the way you say it, or, oh, the guy, he thinks he's a goddamn king, more macho style, or broads. So what is this word broads? Or also I could say chicks. It's almost the same thing. So guys, when we talk about women who we like, we don't want to say, oh, a girl, a female student, broads and chicks. It's kind of guy style for girls. So here he's talking about broads. So it's only guy talk. If I say this to a woman or to a girl, it's quite bad. Hey, chick. Oh, God, you can't say that. But among guys, that's kind of how we talk. So in Korean, do you have guy talk? Guys, when you meet together, do you have certain vocabulary you use, certain things? Yeah, especially a lot of swearing. What I didn't understand when I came to Korea is guys, one guy talk is this word. The Korean word for puppy or baby animal, they keep saying seki, seki. Why? That's not cool. Why do you say that? But it's kind of more guy style. Sekiya. It doesn't mean it's so bad. However, that's guy style. When you get together, you say a lot of bad words that you wouldn't say in front of your mother, your sister, your girlfriend. It's just kind of natural. So these are page numbers, page 8 and page 10. So I'll give you just a minute in your book just to answer these questions by talking. Then we'll go over the important ones. So just for a minute, look at the second question and the third question. Okay, so for this one, it's not so important. This number 10, it's very important. So does anybody know what's an assignment? So we said it's part of the vigils. The vigils that's the secret society at the high school. And the way the vigils work is kind of like a company. Archie is maybe the president, CEO, he's the boss. And then Obi is maybe Obi is maybe a secretary or a minister or vice president. So Archie says, do this. Obi finds the person and he says, do this. Do an assignment. The assignments are mostly kinds of pranks or tricks. So in high school, a typical thing is to So a typical high school thing is when school is over for the day, some students, they go in with screwdrivers and they loosen the screws on all of the chairs and the tables. So the next day, the students sit down, the chair falls apart and the students are falling on the floor and everybody ha ha ha. And the teacher gets angry and says, what is going on here? So sometimes they do little things, unscrewing things. Maybe Archie says to Obi, get this guy to steal some cigarettes from the drugstore. So this guy has to steal the cigarettes, give them to Obi, and then get them to Archie. So Archie is like a CEO of the vigils. The assignments are the things the people have to do, that the students have to do in the secret society. Okay, I'm sorry, that's the wrong way. How do you do this one? Okay. And a couple things about vocabulary. Pot is slang. Pot is marijuana. And you know that in Korea, people think, oh my God, marijuana, it's a serious drug. It will kill you. You will steal from your mother. But where I'm from, we think marijuana is not good, but it's not the end of the world. So alcohol is not so bad. If you drink alcohol when you're in high school, maybe it's like getting a C or getting -1. Maybe pot, marijuana is maybe -2. So it's one step worse than alcohol, but it's not horrible. It's not the end of the world. And then a pusher is a person who's selling marijuana, selling drugs. So like I said, in Korea, marijuana in school, it's hard to imagine, but in America, marijuana in high school, it's not unusual. We don't think it's a terrible thing. It's a cultural difference. The vigils, we explained this one. This one, Trinity. If you're Catholic or Christian, the word Trinity has a very special, specific meaning. The word Trinity, tri, if you imagine, is a kind of like a triangle, something with 3 sides, 3 corners. And then page 15, the chocolate, and then a crucifix or a cross. So a cross is this shape, but does anybody know a crucifix? Especially if you're Catholic, you see a lot of crucifixes. You see a cross, and you see that, sorry to be sacrilegious here, I'm not this one. You see that Jesus has been nailed to the cross. He's bleeding, he's having a hard time, he's going to die. So the cross with the Jesus attached to it, suffering, is a crucifix. So that's a very important religious symbol. And then if I take a person and I want to kill them, you take the person, you put them on the cross, then you put a nail through this hand, a nail through this hand, and nails through their feet. Then they hang there, and then they slump, and after a while, the person, they can't breathe. So we call this way of killing someone, we say to crucify. So if you put somebody on a cross to kill them, we say crucify. Don't crucify the person, or Christ was crucified. So that word crucify, it means you're next to a cross and you're nailed to the cross. Life is shit. So Archie says this a little bit later, but he doesn't say, oh, life is shit. He doesn't say it like this one. He says, life is shit. So what does this mean, though? If I say it like this one, life, life is shit. What does he feel? What does that mean? And then on page 16, what's the meaning of the last paragraph? It's kind of important. So in your group, look at the questions. I'll give you a minute or two to answer these, especially the page 16 questions. Okay, so does anybody know what the Trinity is? The name of their high school is called Trinity High School. It's more of a Catholic name coming from the Bible. Does anybody know what this word Trinity means? Is anybody Catholic in here? Catholic? Okay. Christians? Just regular Christian?
Consider 3 parts,
Mm-hmm.
and he has 3 traits. First is the Holy Father and Jesus Christ and Holy Spirit.
Right. So exactly. So the Christians, especially Catholics, believe that there is one God, but God is actually like a triangle. God is divided up into three parts, which we say the Father, the God, the idea of God in heaven watching over the people, the Son, who's Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, which is kind of like a ghost or an angel that follows us, that tells you, your friends say, hey, let's go get drunk in Wangshimni, and the angels tell you, no, don't do that. Drink a beer, one beer, and go home, and then study. And then you say, no, go drinking. So it's like angels and devils talking to you. So this is the idea of the Holy Trinity. And I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to convert you. It's just part of the story. And then also about to understand English and Western society as well. English is a European language, and the Christianity is mostly from Europe, mostly a European religion. So in English, we have a lot of idioms, a lot of culture that's related to Christianity. So if you kind of understand the Bible, how it works, you can understand culture a lot better. So I'm not really a Christian actually, but it's sometimes very helpful to know the background to communicate a little bit better. All right, good. And let's see, I think we'll keep going. You can understand a little bit more here. Wrong way. Okay, so a couple things about chapter 3, a girly magazine. So what's a girly magazine?
A magazine with graphic pictures.
Okay, so a magazine with graphic pictures. Yes, for example, can you think of a girly magazine? What? Teen Vogue. Teen Vogue is not a girly magazine. I'll give you a hint. A girly magazine, it's for men. It's a men's magazine. So like Maxim, Playboy, something like this one. Kind of usually pornographic magazine. Maxim, not that I read that, is like maybe PG. You have to be 12 or 13 to buy it, but a girly magazine, 18 or older. And then what's a dropout? A dropout is somebody who quits school. They quit high school or they quit college, maybe mostly because they want to, maybe for financial money reasons. So somebody who quits is a dropout. And then a hippie we talked about before, kind of a bohemian, somebody, they don't like to work, they play guitar and drums in the park with their friends, maybe smoke marijuana, kind of alternative, a little bit crazy lifestyle, a hippie. In Seoul, where can you find hippies? There's a few, there are some. Any ideas? Uh-huh.
In front of Seoul Station.
Well, yeah, that's more homeless people. Sometimes hippies are homeless people. Probably Daehangno is the #1 place for hippies, like actors, a little bit bohemian. Maybe Itaewon as well. Maybe some kind of gypsy, something like this one. So probably Daehangno, that's where you find actors. Actors are usually kind of hippies. And square is kind of an interesting idea. So a square is a shape, but if I say, hey man, you're square, it means you're not cool. So it's kind of an old slang. Somebody who's square is not cool, and above all, a square person is a square person is a conformist. If you're square, you do what society tells you. Society says, oh, study hard, go to a good university, find a nice wife or nice husband, work at the company. If you do all of this one, then you're square. It means not cool, boring, typical. So hippies are not square. Hippies are kind of cool and nonconformist. Most of us, though, are square. We just do what our parents tell us, what society tells us, teachers tell us. We follow the rules like a square. We can't escape. We're boxed in. but hippies are a little bit different. So square is a kind of slang for being normal and uncool. And how about man? If I say, how was your weekend, man? What did you do, man? Why do you say man sometimes? Hey, man. Does anybody know? That's hippie talk, hippie style. Hey, man, did you check this out? It's really cool. Man, I'm telling you. So here there's a hippie character. The guy's always going, yeah, man. And then finally, grass. They talk about grass in the novel. It's another slang word for marijuana. So marijuana is pot, it's grass, weed. It has many nicknames, but here they're talking grass is actually marijuana. So these discussion questions, just spend maybe 5 minutes, kind of talk these over with your group. So you can spend a couple, and this group I was saying, the chocolate war is actually, some people say it's quite shocking, it's terrible, nobody should read this, it's bad. Some school libraries, they cannot have the chocolate war because the parents don't want it. So why is it so shocking? Can you find what's so shocking about this one? So in your group, just spend 5 minutes. Just by talking, you can ask and answer these questions. This one is the most interesting one, I think. So answer the questions for about 5 minutes or so. This question, it's from Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 and the movie, so you should be able to remember. Some of these are just general questions. This one, it's not in the book. It's not in the novel. You have to use your imagination, think about it. And this one, you just have to hunt. This one's very hard. Maybe you can't find it. We'll talk about it together. So these two, from your thinking, maybe from the novel, mostly your thinking. So take a minute or two. Those first two questions, you need to use your brain, your imagination mostly. Right, okay, so a big struggle. He wants to be a star football player. He's short and he's very thin. He weighs like 60 kilograms, so he's struggling to make the football team. Yeah, that's very important, actually. Okay, so question number 1. Jerry's got big problems. So this group said, Jerry, he wants to be on the football team. He's short and he's too thin. That's one struggle. What other struggle does Jerry have? He doesn't have a girlfriend. He's quite lonely. That's one thing. There's another one. You were mentioning it before about Jerry's family. It's not in there yet? Oh, we haven't read that far yet? Are you sure? He has no brother or sister. His mom just died of cancer. So that's a huge struggle. If your mom dies and you're 16 years old, that's terrible. Okay, so he's too small, he's thin, his mom just died, he's struggling, he's not popular, he's just in high school. And this one we won't worry about. This one is very hard to figure out if you don't have some background. So if I look at page 18, we'll read this one together. So at the top of page 18 is kind of a hint. It's not that direct. It says, he's talking about the Playboy magazine he bought. He's only 16, that's illegal, but I think he bought it anyway. So it says, sneaking the magazine home, sneaking it home on the bus, hiding it in the bottom drawer of his room. He was terrified of discovery. Finally, tired of smuggling it into the bathroom for swift perusals, blah, 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 he threw the magazine in the garbage can, a catch basin. So here's the thing. Here's the shocking content of this book. Jerry, he gets the Playboy magazine and he takes it into the bathroom. That's it. Okay, so the teenage boy has a Playboy magazine and he takes it into the bathroom secretly. What is he doing in the bathroom secretly with the Playboy magazine? This is why this book is so, oh my God, it's shocking, it's unbelievable. So the teenager has the magazine, he takes it to the bathroom with him secretly. What is he doing in the bathroom with the magazine? Okay, he's got it. He knows the answer. So anybody else, can you guess what is he doing with the dirty magazine in the bathroom? He's reading. No, he's not reading. He's doing something else, but he's kind of got it. He's looking at the pictures. Okay, so this is the important part. He's looking at the pictures and doing something that's... Okay, all right, he's got it. Okay, so I'm not going to say that. He's okay. He's, okay, yeah, he's off, or he's... Okay, this is English class, so I can't tell you the word. I can give you a hint, though. So the teenager, he goes to the bathroom with the Playboy magazine, and he's doing this in the bathroom. The teenaged boy is doing this in the bathroom. For you guys, is that shocking? No. So what I don't understand is now, if you go to the internet, you can go to any wild, shocking site. Are you 18? Yes! Like this one. Now, this is nothing but 30 years ago, parents and teachers and priests, they said, oh my God, the author, he's talking about this. Oh, you can't do that. But it's not really that shocking at all if you think about it. But this book always, there's big problems because they sort of talk about this in a little bit. I don't quite get it. But anyway, that's why the story is so shocking, although it's really not shocking at all. So we'll move on. We'll watch a little bit from the movie, then we'll talk about it. Okay, so here, we saw this last week. Jerry, he goes to the bathroom, and he vomits because he's so tired. This is Archie. He's the head of the vigils, and here's Obi. They're working together. So especially if you look at his hairstyle, look at the way he acts, the way he talks, you can kind of understand. He's a very important character, but he's a little bit of a bad guy too.
That kid they call the Goober. Rowan Goobert. Brother Eugene's room. They think it's easy. I mean, who the hell do they think I am? You're not much help, Obi.
Never thought you needed much help, Archie.
Alright. Alright, let's just finish this. One more name. That kid who just left the field. One they wiped out?
Kid named Renault. Freshman. Here it is. Renault Jerome E., son of James R., pharmacist at Blake's, birth date, the kid just turned 15, blah, blah, blah. Oh, his mother just died.
So this is in the book, but Obi, he takes the name, Renault, and then he has a notebook, and he says, I have the kid's address, his name, his parents, and then this is not a school record, this is the vigils. So the vigils in the school, they're watching everybody. They take notes on everybody. They know all the details. They know everything. So it's a little bit scary. They're almost like some secret organization, like the CIA. They're watching. Be careful. All because of this Archie guy. He's so smart and so wicked, and he has all these nasty plans. It's quite amazing.
Last spring. Cancer.
It must be hard. Poor kid. His mother dead and all.
Yeah?
You know what he needs?
What?
Therapy.
Therapy?
Right. Put him down.
Jesus, Archie, you saw him out there. He's just a skinny kid. I mean, his mother's barely cold. What are you putting him on the list for?
Put him down.
Assignment? You running out of ideas?
Just being artistic. It's an art, you know. Put him down for the chocolates.
You know what, Archie?
What?
Life is sad sometimes.
Life is shit.
Okay, so after watching the film clip, we'll just talk for another minute or two here. Where did it go? Okay, so we watched this film clip. Okay, and then you can just, we saw Jerry, we saw Archie. Archie's the guy with the Macaulay Culkin haircut who's calling the shots. Obi's got the glasses. Brother Leon, we didn't watch him, just forget about this one. So just in your group, talk about the characters. What kind of person is Jerry and Archie and Obi? And then we'll finish. So just answer the question for about 2 minutes. Describe each character. Okay, so let's talk about Jerry. What kind of guy is Jerry, if we describe Jerry? Yeah, how can we describe Jerry? Okay. So let me ask you, this is the important question. You've seen Jerry playing football, suffer, he vomits, he's having a hard time. Do you like Jerry? Yeah, he's a hero, but he's not a perfect guy. He's very human. That's why we like him. He's like us, human. How about Archie? Archie is very interesting. Something about, we call this being sarcastic or sarcasm. I say one thing, but my meaning is another. If I drink this, I say, oh, yeah, this is delicious. This is so good. Oh, I really like this one. Actually, I don't like it. I'm being sarcastic. If you come to class 40 minutes late and you sleep, I say, oh, today, yeah, good job. Yeah, really nice. So being sarcastic. And then, or else I could be in earnest. You do a good job. You get an A+ on your test. You study hard. I say, hey, good job. I'm being serious. So But the thing about Archie, he talks like this one. This is shit. This is total shit. Is he being sarcastic? Says, life is shit. So is he being sarcastic? Is it a joke? Or is he being serious? Does he actually believe it? With Archie, you don't know. Is it a joke or is it serious? So he's very what we call cynical, or let's see, maybe so he's very cynical or enigmatic. His behavior and what's happening in his head, you can't know. It's impossible. So maybe he's a little bit complicated. He's a little bit difficult, confusing. Even Obi, Archie, are you serious or you're joking? Even Obi doesn't know. Nobody knows what's in Archie's head. And about Archie's hair, so if you look at Archie's hair and then Obi's hair, what kind of economic background do you think Archie's from?
Private school.
Well, they're all from a private school. That's right. They go to Trinity School. But look at Archie's haircut. Do you think it's a cheap haircut or expensive haircut? Yeah, it looks nice. So Archie, he's from a rich family. He goes to a private school. He doesn't have to have a part-time job. So he's what we call, how do you spell privileged? That's not right. So he's privileged. He comes from a rich family. The other kids don't, although it's a private school. So that kind of makes a big difference. So I think that's all right. So what we'll do for next week is we'll read 2 more chapters, which should be, so you read 2 and 3, is that right? So 4 and 5. So for next week, our homework will be to read chapter 4 and 5. We won't read all of the Chocolate War. It takes too much time. You'll be too tired. You'll hate it. So we'll read probably just 2 more chapters. So next week, chapters 4 and 5 of the Chocolate War. After that, in 2 weeks, we'll start the unit on children's literature, which is kind of more exciting, more enjoyable. So next week, just 4 and 5. And let's just check our attendance. We had some late folks today. So no, we didn't. Actually, everybody's here. And then I think everybody's here, so no absences. So let's finish, and then I'll see you guys next week.